272 BCE. Rome stands on the edge of dominance, but her grip on Italia is far from secure. To the north, the Etruscan League endures, defiant and unbroken. One campaign will decide whether Rome unites the peninsula or fractures under pressure. Today, we begin the war for Italia. Rome moves quickly. A prolonged war risks exposing the Republic to rivals on every frontier. And so, the Etruscan League must be dealt with swiftly. With the enemy's forces identified, Legio II advances on Velathri, forcing the champions of Uni to withdraw north towards Ariminum. At the same time, Legio I marches north in preparation for what Rome hopes will be the final blow against the Etruscans. Even in war, Rome looks ahead. Agreements are forged across Italia as the Republic begins laying the foundations for future alliances and expansion. 271 BCE, Legio II arrives outside Velathri and prepares the city for siege, while Legio I continues its march toward Ariminum. Rome's ambitions are already growing beyond the current war. Classis I is expanded in preparation for operations against Alalia, while new military infrastructure is laid across Italia. Rome is no longer building armies for survival, but for conquest. Yet the Etruscans are not idle. At Ariminum, the champions of Uni gather strength for what appears to be a final defense of northern Italia. If Rome delays too long, this war may become far more costly than anticipated. 270 BCE brings Rome's first real setback. Reinforced by superior numbers, the champions of Uni force Legio I into retreat, halting Rome's advance north. But to the west, the siege of Velathri reaches its conclusion. The city refuses surrender. Battle is inevitable. Denied the high ground by an aggressive Etruscan advance, the Roman army is forced into a rushed formation. Velites unleashed their javelins as the Hastati moved forward to absorb the charge. The Etruscans press hard against the Roman flanks, but discipline holds. The Roman general and his bodyguard move quickly to stabilize the line, preventing cavalry from collapsing the formation. Once the enemy front line begins to waver, the outcome is inevitable. Velathri falls. Rome's victory is decisive, but there is little time to celebrate. Ariminum still stands, and with it, Etruscan control over northern Italia. Reinforcements are raised immediately. Legio I is expanded with additional Hastati and Velites, while a third legion is assembled in the south to prepare for future operations against Alalia. 267 BCE, Rome begins transitioning towards the Manipular Legion system, an army designed not only for battle, but for sustained conquest. Velites formed the forward screen, softening enemy advances before falling back behind the Hastati, who absorbed the initial clash. Behind them stand the experienced Principes, ready to reinforce weakened lines and maintain pressure in prolonged combat. And finally, the Triarii, veterans committed only in moments of crisis. Supported by cavalry on the flanks, these legions represent the future of Roman warfare. But Rome may not have time to perfect them. The champions of Uni marched south towards Rome itself, forcing the Republic into a dangerous decision: defend the capital with overwhelming force, or risk the city in order to strike directly at Ariminum. Rome chooses aggression. Legio I and II march north to besiege Ariminum, while the newly formed Legio III remains behind to defend the capital from any Etruscan counterattack. The gamble nearly fails. The champions of Uni force the Roman legions away from the city, temporarily lifting the siege. But in doing so, they expose themselves, and Rome seizes the opportunity. 265 BCE. 3 Roman legions converge on Ariminum. The battle for Italia has begun. Legio II takes command of the assault, deploying in the classic manipular formation as reinforcements stream onto the battlefield. Rome's greatest weakness remains its lack of cavalry, leaving the Velites vulnerable to enemy flanking attacks. Yet the Roman line holds firm. Repeated cavalry attacks are repelled as the Hastati protect the front line of Velites. When the Etruscan infantry commits to the attack, the Roman front bends, but does not break. As the fighting intensifies, the Principes advance through the gaps to relieve the exhausted Hastati, maintaining pressure across the line. One by one, the Etruscan formations begin to collapse. Smaller Roman cohorts break formation to pursue the retreating enemy, turning withdrawal into rout. The battle is won. Ariminum falls soon after, and with it, the province of Italia is finally brought under Roman control, but peace remains distant. In Italia, new Etruscan armies gather strength beyond the sea. If Rome hopes to truly secure Italia, the Republic must sail west once more. The war is far from over.